Okay, this is a review of the Cambridge Topaz Bible in the ESV. I've been looking for a Bible like this for a long time, trying to find just the perfect preaching Bible, and there really wasn't anything available in the ESV that I was happy with. I was looking for a verse by verse, and there was basically nothing. And so I was really happy when Cambridge brought this thing out. It was my first Cambridge Bible. I have some other fancy Bibles, and I just want to give you my thoughts. How does this one compare with those? How does this compare with some of the stuff available from Crossway? And am I happy with it as my new preaching Bible? So I am really happy with the leather. I like that. What I don't like is that it sort of doesn't, this spine is so tight, it's built like a tank, so it's pretty tight right now. I know it's going to take a bit of time to work it in, so that's what I can say about that. I'm fine with the goat skin. I like that. The quality of the work, the workmanship is really nice. This pink edge is looking amazing, honestly, and the paper is so smooth, so soft. I've never felt paper this soft, so that's really great. It's also opaque. I'm happy with that. You can check out all the other videos where people will show you the Bible itself, and you can get into all of that. I am trying to use this Bible for my preaching for years and years, so I want to mark it up really nicely. One of the problems with that, though, is, of course, the layout is awesome here. You've got enough space in these little margins. Everything's rocking for that, except the papers, I feel like it's too thin. I've got these Pigma Micron pens, and I'm using a yellow highlighter to mark it up a little bit, and maybe I can show you that. I think I did something in the Exodus 20. So you can see I marked up just with the yellow there and a red pen. So that's okay, but this paper is very delicate and thin, so I'm a little scared to go with a pink highlighter or orange highlighter or really get going with the pens. I think it's going to start looking brutal on the other side, the bleed through and stuff. So that sucks a little bit, and I almost wish, like, if there was an option for this Bible, this exact Bible, but with instead of a 28 GSM paper, maybe a 36 GSM paper, I would go for that. I find that I need a little bit of a thicker paper so I can just go nuts and draw and write. But this one, I'm going to have to be very careful and more limited with my marking up than I had originally wanted. The ribbons are great. Nothing more to say about that. Cool color, cool thickness. I must say, compared to my Schuyler Quintel, this Bible is not as nice as that one. This one cost me just as much money as that one, but that one is nicer. The leather is just sort of like thicker, and it bounces back nicely. This one just sort of flops there, doesn't do anything. The paper, I have a 38 GSM Quintel, like that's the first ESV Quintel that came out. The paper on that, I think it's not as white as this, and it's not as soft as this, and it's probably just as opaque, but it's thicker, so you can move it, you can find your spot easier, and you can also write on it better. So that is something that is not as awesome on this Bible. So in terms of like, if you're not a preacher and you want to get the super nice Bible, I would get that one rather than this one, because the primary benefit of this one is this verse by verse format. And also, it's cool, like, I think actually the red letter edition, the words of Christ in red, honestly, I think that is better for a preacher, because I just need more things to differentiate the text. I need to be able to see what's what, and just the more things that make it stand out from what's around it, the better it is. So this is totally a great tool for preaching. Same thing too, like if your pulpit isn't gigantic, and this thing is not a overly huge Bible. It's sort of like a standard thickness of any thinnish Bible, just with a little bit of a larger format. You know, the actual dimensions of the Bible are a little bit bigger. But no one's thinking like you're standing around here with a huge Bible. So in terms of portability and maneuverability with the one hand thing that people want to do, this probably is the ultimate package you can get. My only regret is that the paper, because of its thinner and now you can wield it around really nicely, now it's a little bit harder to write on it. So those are my thoughts. Maybe to wrap it up here, the maps in the back are really cool. Nice colors, even some trippy ones about other ancient empires that you don't really see. The concordance also is really usable, and sort of you'd want to use this. Just the layout of it is, and the font and everything is really nice. So thumbs up to that. So I think you should totally get it if you preach from the ESV and you are into this verse by verse format in a double column. This is it for you. If you really want to write on your Bible, I'm thinking, heck, maybe I should have just taken my quintel and marked that thing up with all my markers and everything, because then you can sort of escape the verse by verse format is so important. But if you use enough pens and highlighters in your Bible, you can sort of simulate that by showing what's what. Other thing that's not as good as the quintel is in the poetry sections. So look at this. This is a psalm, but the format there isn't blowing anyone's mind. Like it's so square, you know. Whereas if you have a lot of the stuff from Crossway is more the way that the paragraphs are aligned and how the lines land. It just sort of feels more like, oh, I can see I'm in a poetry section now. I feel like I'm reading a psalm rather than I'm just in the middle of some history book. So the contrast is not as strong in the poetry sections on this particular Bible either. So anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on the Cambridge Topaz. I'm really thankful for it, and I'm excited to see how it's gonna go, like in the months and years ahead. Like if it's gonna be easier for me to find my spot, because right now it's kind of hard. The paper's so thin, and I'm really I want to get there quick, but I'm just not getting there really quick. And also eager to see how it's gonna lay flat, sort of in my hand and also on the desk as the days roll by.